Hi, so today we are going to be talking about Edward Theodore Gain. So this story is titled Gain's House of Horrors. Have you ever heard of it? Okay, let me tell you about it. Edward Theodore Gain was born to George Philip Gain. He was born in 1906. His mother, Augusta Gain. Now this woman, it said that she hated her husband because the man was an alcoholic. He couldn't keep a job. Like he will get a job today, he works less than a month, he gets sad because of his alcoholic attitude. And because of it, she was very insulting. The wife was very insulting, so she used to like insult him a lot. So the only way for him, he was a very timid guy. He would go out, drink, get drunk. Then when he comes to the house, he would beat her up. And then the neighbors had said that she would insult him, curse him, or say all manner of things. She had two sons for him. There was Henry George Gain, and then there's our guy, Edward George Gain. So we call him Ed for short. So now again, growing up as a child, the mom, while she was training them, she taught them a lot of things. She used to preach to her children, and then they said she took time out of every afternoon of the day to read to them from the Bible, and she mainly focused on death, the end time, retribution, all of those things. She focused on the certain part. She was vegetarian, so she focused on this aspect of the Bible. So she always took her time to read it. But you see, she also told them about the evils of the world. So she kept telling them that she had this very strong belief that every woman on the surface of the earth, apart from her, were instruments of the devil. So they were promiscuous and all sorts of those things. Now, around a few years after these children were born, while they were, I think, around 8 years old, they moved away from where George was born in Washington. They moved to Plainfield, Wisconsin. So this man, he bought a 192-acre of land. Mr. George Gain, he bought this land, and then Augusta took the opportunity. This land, it was almost like an abandoned space of land, so they didn't have so many neighbors around them. So she took advantage of this, and she made sure that nobody interacted with their son. And the only time he had interactions with people was in school. And he was a very quiet person. And then they said his reports from school said he did fairly well as a child in school. He had no friends, so he would often talk to himself and laugh at his own jokes. People saw him as a very weird guy back in school. And then he said that when he made friends with people, his mom used to punish him for talking to people. She said she didn't want them relating with anybody. I think this was how she brought up the two children, both Henry and George. But while they were becoming adults, since the dad continued with his drinking habits. In 1940, their dad died due to a heart failure from his alcoholism. So he died in 1940. At this time, Ed was over 30 years old. And then Henry the brother, he found a woman. He fell in love with this woman. And this woman was a divorcee. She had 2 kids already from this relationship. So Henry started talking to Ed about their mom's attitude. She was trying to laugh. Ed loved his mom to a fault. So Henry was always telling her, what mom is saying is wrong, she shouldn't be like this, don't be too sticky, you are a man, don't do this, you get. So he already had plans of moving, he had plans of moving in with the woman he was in love with. So somewhere around 1942, there was an accident in the farm. Since Henry, most of them, when their dad died, they started working, so they started doing their jobs, all sorts of work jobs. Now Edward, he knew how to relate very much, play with kids better than he could relate. He didn't know how to relate with adults of his age. So he was also into babysitting, and most of the time he worked in the family farm that their 192 acres. So while Ed continued doing all of this job, in 1942, a call came in that there was a fire incident in their farm. So when the police moved to the place, when they got to the place, they found out that the farmland was, while they were trying to put out the fire, after putting out the fire, then Ed reported his elder brother Henry missing. So while they were searching the farm, they found his brother in one part of the house. In the part of the house, he was lying face down, and then they ruled out the cause of death as asphyxiation. But later on, when the body was examined, they discovered that there was a wound on his forehead. So Ed was never questioned. The cops never looked into what the cause of his death. They just ruled it as asphyxiation. So that was how Henry died. So in 1944, 2 years after Henry's death, their mom fell ill. She had a stroke, so she couldn't move. Now, Ed took his time to take care of their mom. He was very dedicated to her. In 1945, their mom died. So after she died from his death, Ed was alone in this very huge, this massive land. So he continued doing this job. He focused mainly on the farmland. So while he was working, Ed, in sometime in 1952, now Ed, people started noticing weird things, strange things happening, strange behavior from Ed. He became a drunkard just like his dad. So he would drink often, drink himself to sleep off, come back home, sleep off like that, and he was making weird jokes. Once there was a woman in the town, her name was Mary Hogan. So she was the owner of one of the tavern that he often went to drink. So she was reported missing. The cops looked for her, but she was never found. And then 2 years after that, there's this owner of this hardware shop. She sold guns and all of that. And her son was a sheriff in the village around that Plainfield, Wisconsin. So this woman, she went missing. And then when the son came home, mom is supposed to be in the shop around this time. He's looking for his mom, and then he saw a blood trail. Then he followed the blood trail. Then the last receipt that was in the shop, before then the mom had told him that somebody was coming to purchase hardware. So when she came when the son came, he looked at there was a receipt. The last receipt that was there had Edward Gaines' name on it. So he decided to follow the blood trail. Let's go to Ed's house, and then he called the cops on them. Ed. So when they got to his house, at the back of the house was the woman, Bernice Warding's body. She was hanging upside down on a hook, she was hung like a bear. You know how they hang bush meat now. So her stomach was torn open. She was hanging upside down. Her stomach was by then torn open, her liver and lungs were no longer inside. So she was dripping down blood, he just kept her there to dry up because he needed to pan out. So when the cops moved into the house, Ed was at home, drunk. He didn't even know what he was doing. And so they were they need to search the house and all of that. So they started searching in the house. First of all, when they got into the house, they saw 9 masks. 9 masks that were made from human faces on the wall. He decorated the house with that. And then they saw the leather chairs that was in his house. The upholstery of the leather chair was human skin. He used human skin to sew chairs. And then there were shoes, boots, knee-high boots. There was heel that he made out of human skin. He was making human leather. And then they saw a belt there. The belt was made from female nipples. He made a full belt for trouser with women nipples. And then he also they saw noses in one of the sacks. There were about 4 noses in one of the little boxes he has. And then they opened another box. They saw female vulva as in babies inside box. Inside the box. And then there were other items that were found in the house. He made a lamp out of human skin. And then this man, he sewed a corset. He was sewing a corset from human skin, from female skin. So after he made a corset, he also made leggings, a full trouser. This man was making a complete human suit. He was making a human out of human skin. He was making all sorts of items. You have to give it to this guy. This guy was talented. Only that he was doing these things in how he was getting all of this. So when he was questioned, they saw soup bowls from there. He made soup bowls from human skulls. He had 6 soup bowls made from human skulls. So when the cops started questioning him, they went into the kitchen. They saw hats. This hat was the woman at the back of his house, who is Bernice Warding. It was a hat and there was a stew that was cooking there. Her head was in the stew. He was cooking. There was a human hat on one of the shelves there, and then they saw a burlap sack. When they opened the sack, they saw her liver, parts of her body, all of those innards inside the sack. So when he was questioned, he said at first, when he was making all of these things between 1952 and 1953, he started making these things. He said most times he will often get drunk, and in the days he will go to the cemetery. So he will dig up fresh bodies that were just recently buried, he takes them home, tan the skin, and then he starts working on the skin. So he said, actually, he was trying to make a bodysuit, a full human suit that looks like his mom. He loved his mom so much. And when the couple looked around the house, he noticed that the house didn't look like someone was living there, except for one room, which was the room that his mom was habiting before she died. So he made sure to like maintain the room like the mom was still alive. The room was neat, everything was arranged, but every other part of the house was messy. Like every other place smelled. But the mom's room was kept intact. So he was making a full body suit to look like his mom. So he said at night he also put on this suit, walk around the room, and people wouldn't even know. So he said when he was working with corpses, he noticed that the corpses, the skin was not, it was quite difficult to work with. So he resorted to like killing people so that you get fresh skin and you could just pan out, that kind of thing. So, but later when he was crazy, he also said actually he didn't mean to kill the last woman was when he's working, because he said he was testing a firearm. So while he was testing it, he was trying to like put a bullet in it. So it just went off and she mistakenly fired the shot. So he had to took her out of the shot. Maybe because once made the leather waste. No. But that was it. So he took her home. And then he started all of his craft, all of the things that he was making. So that was how he used her as one of the raw materials for his product. Now, in his case, when he was taken to when they built up the case against him, he took him to court. He was deemed unfit. He said he was insane. He couldn't go for trial. And the following year, which was 1969, he went. Said he was fit to stand trial. He said no, this man is not fit to stand trial. He's still insane. So he was taken to the Mental Health Hospital. So this was where he was for the rest of his life. Now in 1984, he finally died. He died at the age of 77. He died from heart failure in 1984. Now his property, the whole building, the whole land, the government were trying to sell it. They were trying to sell it for $4,200. I think that should be about the amount of about $6,000. So they were trying to like sell off the property so that people visit the place as, let's say, a tourist center or something. But people were really offended by what took place in that place, the horrors and everything in the house. So the place all of a sudden the call came in that the place was on fire, like the building got bombed and everything. So when the building got bombed, when the call came in, when the place was on fire, when the call came in, the call went to Sheriff Warden, that is the son of the first woman, the woman that her body was found in the compound. Like, they said they didn't take it seriously. So it's a suspected arson. It was ruled as arson. But arson is deliberate burning of people. So they assume that the person set a place for a reason. And then the truck, the one he was using to transport the body, somebody bought the truck for about $420 or so, and he started charging people 25 cents to like visit, go inside the truck, look at the places just to see yourself. So that was it. So when he heard the news at the place and the gun, he said that he had suspected it. And then in one of the interviews, he said when he sees a beautiful lady walking around the road, there's a part of him that wants to go talk to her, be her friend, take her out, treat her right, just take care of her. And then there's another part of her that imagines how she will look like with her head on the stick, like bushmeat, and she will just be like that. She won't say, if your kid is for her, and so that was how he often talked of women. So now in popular culture, there are several movies that were acted based on this guy's life story. We have Silence of the Lamb, if you watched it. So the guy on that movie, Buffalo Bill, his character was almost like Ed Gein. This guy was sewing all of those. You go and watch Silence of the Lamb. There's Ace House of Horrors. There's Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There are several movies. There's Psycho. There's Insane. All of these movies, you can watch any of them. The storyline is behind Edward Theodore Gain. Tell me what to think about Edward Gain. That's the community. Just